You got it. Upload to the people, to the cloud, to the people, to the cloud. Upload, 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 upload. Up to the sky, up to the sky, up to the people, up to the people, up to the cloud, up to the cloud. Go, go. You can do it. 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 Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's the power of positivity. What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. So as you guys know, if you saw the last vlog, which if you haven't, go watch it. But I basically kind of shared how I've been struggling mentally since being home. Actually today exactly, it's been 2 full weeks since being home. So I've had some time to kind of adjust, acclimate, and kind of get my SHIT together a little bit because your girl was struggling. Again, if you are not caught up to speed, you can check out my podcast where I talk about being in a rut and also my last YouTube video. I essentially was like major low vibe. Wasn't super happy, wasn't feeling myself, wasn't feeling life, wasn't feeling motivated or inspired or anything like that. So I basically just want to share with you guys what I did to help me get out of this rut. And again, I'm not like super chipper, like all bounced back like 100%, but I do feel so much better because I've taken the action to get to a place where I feel better. So that's what this video and vlog is gonna be about. Okay, so I'm out on our balcony. I don't know if this is gonna be distracting because you can hear the stream, but it's relaxing for me. But the first thing I wanted to talk about, this honestly could be a podcast episode. Let's sit on the ground. But I feel like making a YouTube video about it. You guys know I always think the step one of everything is mindset. Like everything starts up here and with your mindset and your emotional body and how you're feeling. The biggest thing is when you're not feeling great, you know, when you're struggling, when you're in a rut, it's so important to not let those emotions, those, you know, dark or negative thoughts consume you. It's really important, it's crucial, I'm so passionate about this. It's imperative to make sure that you're creating space between you and your emotions and feelings, and know that you are not them. You are the one who is simply experiencing them, but simply the mere fact that you were the one able to experience them means that you are not them. So it's super important that you practice observation, create that space and awareness, and create that separation between the two, because that's where it gets very dangerous, when you get so lost and absorbed and engulfed and consumed by those negative thoughts and feelings, where that's where it gets really hard to get out of it. And that's when these problems seem so much bigger, scarier, and daunting than they really are. And I don't say that to belittle any of you guys that are really going through something right now, but sometimes you kind of need that little kick in the butt to get out of this little rut, because even if you're in the situation that really is awful, at the end of the day, if you can't change it, all that's left to do is accept that situation, and do what you can to look at the situation in the most positive light possible, because there's nothing constructive else that's left to do. Like how when you're driving on the road, like there's signs that kind of tell you where the different directions are. I used my emotions that I was feeling more so as signs and messages to kind of make myself aware of what feels good, what's best for me, what's not best for me, you know, in my personal situation. Is it, you know, being here in Utah that was making me feel really upset and in a rut? Was it simply that I just was in my family's house again, and maybe if I had a place here I would feel better? Was it that I, you know, really want to be traveling, that's what's serving me right now in the season of life? Or is it Hawaii itself that I want to be in, that's really what's serving me at this moment in time in my life? So I was kind of using these emotions as more so signs to be able to navigate what these emotions were telling me, to have better insight on, you know, what is my authentic truth in this moment, what actually is serving me in this moment. I'm filming in my dad's room because I swear his room just feels like a whole other house sometimes. It's not even that it's very large, it just like feels like its own little fort for some reason. It's actually such a good way to describe it. Like it truly feels like a fort or like a treehouse. Now in terms of actually like tangible action that I took to help me get out of the rut. Journaling. And this is why, how many times have you guys heard me preach about all of these different things? Because it's important to be able to get these habits down, to become familiar with them, so that when you are in a rut, when you are feeling really low, when you are feeling really negative, you have these tools in your toolbox that you're familiar with, you know how to use, to then be able to help get yourself out of this rut. So journaling was literally my freaking best friend. And again, kind of going back to that awareness point where, you know, practicing self-awareness to know that, you know, you are not your emotions. Same Same thing, it's really important to practice self-awareness in these times when you're feeling low, to know what have you been consuming, what have you been indulging in, what have your habits been, what have you been lacking. Because for me, it took having that awareness of being like, oh wait, I actually haven't written gratitude lists consistently in a long time. I haven't been saying my affirmations since I got home. So I feel like that awareness is super important, because it allows you to discover what you're needing and what you need to tell yourself and what you need to hear, just as you would with another friend. So that was a huge thing that I would do in here, is I would go back, write down my gratitude list and my affirmations. You guys know how passionate I feel about both of these things. Well, 3 of these things, I guess, gratitude, journaling, and affirmations, because they are tangible action steps that you can take to actually change your thoughts, your thinking habits, your thinking pattern, and switch that narrative and kind of stop that negative momentum spiral that happens when you are in these negative emotions, and switch it to be something positive. Again, in my not my most recent, 2 podcast episodes ago, I speak about how important momentum is. And when you're in a negative spiral, that negative momentum is so powerful in and of itself. So it's up to you to make sure that you are able to redirect that momentum if it's in a really negative direction, and change it to be something positive. Because if you can harness that momentum to your advantage, that is when you're really going to be limitless and unstoppable. Okay, now do you think I could make a mindfulness video, you guys, without including mentioning, touching on, talking about meditation and or breath work? Obviously not. Meditation and breathwork has been like a staple part of my wellness routine for the past like 2 years now. So of course, when I'm in a rut or feeling super out of balance, not grounded, that is where I definitely know that I need meditation and breathwork the most. So that's been something that I've of course been trying to prioritize again since being home. I find especially when I'm in a transition, or you know, like going through a change of scenery, it's hard for me to be consistent with like, and feeling comfortable and at peace enough to actually sit still and meditate and do my breath work. But I find, like I'm saying, like that's when I need it the most. So I've been really prioritizing that lately, and finding, even if it's like 15 minutes in the morning, 10 to 15 minutes, I have been just trying to make myself sit down and do that kind of as a non-negotiable, because it has helped me tenfold. And I find, especially when I'm trying to get back into it and calm myself down in a new setting, guided meditations help me so much. So there's so many on YouTube that I like to use. And the reason why meditation and breathwork is so powerful is because it really draws you back into that present moment. It allows you to kind of release all the things that you're stressed about the future, things that you are upset about from the past, and just kind of brings you into what is here and now. It distresses me so freaking much, and just connecting to my breath as well and focusing on the inhale and the exhale is so therapeutic, because it just kind of melts away anything else that's clouding up my brain. I just feel like these practices like truly call me home is the best way that I can describe it. Like, it brings me back to my center, back to myself. It grounds me, and it reminds me like, you're okay. It's gonna be okay. Like, you have yourself. Just feeling my energy, feeling the energy of the space around me is so calming and so rejuvenating and restorative. So I've been using 2 little fun tools to kind of spice up my meditation and my breathwork sessions. Firstly is this cheap little yoga block. I learned this actually specifically in a breathwork class, where we actually a lot of the times aren't sitting properly, and in order to do that, you want your knees to fall below your sit bone, or like your hip crease. So elevating your tailbones on the edge of this yoga block helps that actually be able to happen. And the second fun little tool is something called the Shift. And this video is actually sponsored by the Camuso Design. And basically what this Shift is this cute little breathwork tool that was actually inspired by Japanese monks. They used to blow out of a flute to help regulate their breathing and their exhales. And so a psychotherapist kind of took it into consideration and kind of made a more modern, sleek, practical design. And what's crazy is that we take about 23,000 breaths a day, which is absolutely absurd. And a majority of them are very unconscious, meaning that we're not thinking about them, we're not mindful of them. And the thing is that it's very often for a lot of us to breathe with very shallow breaths. And with that usually comes our anxious thoughts, or when we're kind of in that fight or flight mode. So the more that we can deepen our breath and lengthen our exhales, the better, because that's what's going to stimulate our vagus nerve, which is going to inevitably help calm the mind. And with a calmer mind, the happier we'll feel, the better we'll sleep, and the more reduction we'll have in like stress, heart rate, blood pressure, all the good things. So basically how this works, it's very simple. It basically allows you to breathe more consciously without the use of technology, which I love, because when I'm meditating and doing my breath work, I don't want to be around any sort of technology because I just find it's really distracting. So all you're going to do is take a nice deep inhale in, and then you're going to take a nice slow exhale. And the beauty of the shift is that it is going to effortlessly lengthen your exhale to be about 8 to 10 seconds, which is kind of that sweet spot. So you're just going to breathe in and breathe out. And that's literally it, but it's so calming. And I also love how you can hear your breath coming through that kind of straw-like structure. It's so calming and soothing, and you're essentially just going to keep repeating that until you feel calm. And it also comes with a chain for you to wear as well, so you can keep this around your neck, especially if you're someone who strongly struggles with anxiety and you want something, a tool to have close to you that will be kind of a little bit of a safety net for you. This will be a great thing to have, carry around with you. And even just you wearing it, even if you don't always use it, will kind of serve as that reminder to ground yourself, be present, be still, focus on your breath, and if you really need it, you can just reach in and grab it. So I personally have the rose gold shift and the rose gold cable chain. It's 28 inches long, and this is made completely out of stainless steel. That's why it's such high quality. And also I think this is so cute. On the back it says "be still" in Japanese, which I absolutely love. I love the freaking little details. So if you want to purchase one for yourself, you can click the link in the description box below. There'll also be a discount code for you there as well. This little tool is honestly so powerful and so transformative. So thank you so much again to the Camuso Design for sponsoring this video.
Get out of my face.
Don't be mean.
I know I'm on your vlog.
Why?
What's the move?
Should we go buy food for dinner? El Chubasco. For old time's sake. Who are you calling now?
Boy. What's up, boy? Like,
Okay, my next tip is staying hydrated. When I'm on my water intake, I feel like everything else in my life just flows better. This water bottle, again, if you saw my last vlog, you saw me buy this from TJ Maxx. This has been doing everything that it's been meant to do. It is a Hydra Peak, that's the brand. Okay, I love it. The straw is revolutionary. I'm out here just drinking bottles every day now. I just now truly understand when people say they have an emotional support water bottle, like this is her. Like, I get it now.
what?
Will you try to crack my back?
Every time I do it, you just yell at me, so.
Well, like, are you gonna step it up or what? Like, well, I need you to do it like my middle.
Okay, I'll do it real quick. Okay, here we go.
That was so anticlimactic.
Why didn't you
Do
crack?
better.
What do you want me to do?
Luke, why do you suck at
Let me try
it?
it
Well, my
again.
wrist just cracked. I did that.
How is he little, like... Alright, let me go.
This is what I yell at you because I'm anxious.
Breathe in and out.
No shit, Sherlock. Alright, go. Oh! I can't see you. What's one tip you have? Luke, you just
what?
looked like you were hibernating.
Get it out. Like, you're ridiculous.
What's one tip you have for people if they're in a rut? Like, what's one thing that you do to help yourself get out of a rut?
Not force it. Do something else. Do something you want to do. Not try to like force yourself to get out of the rut. It kind of naturally will come.
So like focus on things that you want to do that make you feel good, and that will help to get you in a better place.
Yeah.
And it will bleed into all the other
Yeah,
areas.
but I think trying to focus on like, oh my god, I need to get out of this rut, like, you just like dig yourself deeper into it.
Damn, that was a good one. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Looks like that'll be $20. Like,
Yeah, like,
looks like, where's my at?
you're okay, right away out.
The next things that I did are actually kind of like a 2-in-1, or I guess 2 separate things, but definitely walking. As always, you guys already know how beneficial it is for my mental health. And 2 was getting outside, especially for me. Like, I was outside so often in Hawaii, and it's amazing how beneficial it is for our mental health and physiological health and just everything. Like, and I'm just an outdoorsy person. Like, I love the fresh air. It's so rejuvenating and healing to me. And when I'm like down in the dumps, it's very easy to like just want to stay inside and not really do anything at all. But even just getting myself outside helped me so much, like getting the sun on my skin, and then also just moving my body and going for a walk is so therapeutic, and it's so like relaxing, rejuvenating as well. Also scientifically proven to like relax the body and help make you happier. This really is always a big thing that I turn to when I'm feeling like uncomfortable or kind of out of whack or not grounded. I always will turn to outdoor time and walking to recenter myself and ground myself. And with that, walking with my bare feet on the ground as often as I can. I kind of been doing that for the last like 10 minutes of my walk. I'll just take off my shoes and my socks and I'll just walk barefoot, ideally on grass wherever I can, because it also helps to ground you, relax you, because you connect to the earth's energy, and it's just very soothing. Okay, it's getting dark now, so bear with me on the lighting, but another one that I thought of on my walk that like really was revolutionary and changed the game, specifically like this time for me getting out of a rut, was podcasts. And because I was gonna say music, and like music for sure, don't get me wrong, like definitely has such a heavy impact on my mood, but for me, like when I'm already sad or like down, like I will just gravitate towards sad music, and it like keeps me stuck in that sad energy. Granted, you can definitely put on happy music and that will definitely help you as well, but for me, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it takes that discipline for me to like put on happy music, and like I just tended to keep playing sad songs, like sad music, and it's hard to find a podcast that's just like wallowing in your self-pity with you. So putting on podcasts like really helped to motivate me, like re-spark my motivation, my inspiration, like encouraged me again, which is what I personally needed. I just used to listen to podcasts like way more often than I do now, and I sometimes forget how much they help me. Okay, it may or may not be 1:30 a.m. right now, but it's fine, we're just not gonna talk about it. But I'm gonna share some closing thoughts as I do my skincare. I think that there's so many, like I can think of 10 bajillion thousand things that make me happy and things that like cheer me up on a regular basis, but in the sense of like when you're in a rut like that, like that's the whole problem with being in a rut. Like there's not a lot of things that make you feel happy, and it's hard to get yourself to do those things. So for me, like it was kind of about finding things that were more so constructive for me, in my case, to help me get to a better place. And also back to my brother's point, I think he had a really good point where it's how he was saying like you can't force yourself really get out of the rut. I think that is so valid, and I hope that this video doesn't encourage you to like mask your feelings. Don't get me wrong, like I spent a good amount of time like feeling my feelings and just kind of sitting in them. Like I said, I wouldn't force myself to go to the gym. I had my little pity party moments. I let myself sleep. I slept in a ton. And I think having that grace and patience with yourself is definitely like the prelude to healing. Like step one is letting yourself feel, become aware of what you are feeling, so then you know like what you're dealing with and how to move forward to find a solution for that. So definitely step one is to like let yourself feel it and understand that it's normal. But then there does come a point in time where you can't sit in that mode forever. Like you do have to take action and make a change, and that's what I hope that these little tips were helping you with. Speaking of action, that was another thing that I was really struggling with. Like I kind of knew what I needed to do. Like I've been into self-improvement and personal development for so long now. Like I knew the steps that I needed to take, but for some reason it was so hard for me to actually take action and do it. And I think my only piece of advice with that is just the simple fact and realization that like the only thing left between you and healing, the only thing left between you and progress is action, and no one can do it for you. There's no amount of podcasts that you can listen to that will do the action for you. Like, it comes down to the point where you have to do it. There's nothing else left to do. So I kind of got to a point where I had enough of my own BS, and I set an alarm early in the morning, and I just was like, I just have to get it done. I just have to get it done. And I feel like that's always been how I finally implement action, whether that's trying to have a new habit or anything. It always gets to a breaking point where I'm like, I've had enough of this, like I need to cut the BS. Even though it's definitely not always easy when you're feeling like crap. But anyways, that's finally all I have to say now. It is officially all out. I hope this helped you guys and brought you comfort and peace if you guys were needing it, or if you're going through a hard time or in a rut as well. We're in this together. This is normal. Life happens in waves. It's totally a-okay. This happens to literally everyone because we're human. So I'm sending you a big hug if you need it, and so much love. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.